You may be studying for your real estate license right now, either aspiring to become a residential agent or a commercial broker, like what I'm doing, and wondering what it's actually like. And the reality is, the test, as I'm sure you've heard, really doesn't prepare you for anything. It just doesn't. It just lays out the legal framework and says sign right here after you've passed the test to understand that you're responsible for X, Y, and Z. Some of the things come up, don't get me wrong, but most of it just does not. And this is by no means a comprehensive video of what it's actually like, because the reality is you really cannot know entirely what it's like until you're just in the fray, until you're in the mix, doing it and learning. I mean, that's the only way you can truly learn too, is actually by doing it. And keep in mind, I'm speaking from the experience of commercial real estate, being a commercial broker. It's now been 1 year since I've done it, and I've been doing it. I've closed one deal, close to closing a second deal. Have closed 2 leases, hopefully closing a third here soon. And I don't even know where to start, man. Where do I begin? So first of all, there is no linear rule book or manual for how to do this, how to start, day one, what this looks like. A lot of the framework you're going to get are just generalizations. You know, you need to be doing outbound cold calling and prospecting and all these things to generate clientele and a pipeline. I guess I'm not going to try to attempt to list it out. Maybe I can make another video with that and just write it out. I'm just going to kind of go off the cuff and speak to what I've observed, the essence of brokerage, of commercial brokerage. Number one, don't expect to get any kind of deal at all in your first year. You're just going to be doing a lot of grinding, a lot of cold calling, a lot of emailing, a lot of outbound reach, a lot of legwork, depending on if you're part of a big team or a small team. And really just focusing on understanding your market and choosing a niche, whether that's, residential, in the context of commercial, whether that's retail, hospitality, industrial, multifamily, office, rest in peace, and really getting to know that particular asset class within your particular market. As with residential, it's houses, residential. Commercial, what does that cover? A multitude of assets and areas. And your best bet is to becoming very specialized within that, and then maybe a sub-specialty, investment sales or something like that. But knowing that market so you can be as useful as possible to the people you're going to be contacting within that market. And then continuing to develop relationships and reaching out to those people over several years. This is obviously I've only done this for a year, but this is what I have learned from senior brokers ahead of time. And there's so much that you're going to be picking up on your own as you get into it, as you do it. But as I'm sure you'll find out, there's a complete disconnect from what you think it's like to what it actually is. It is a weird business. It is extremely hard. It is very repetitive. And most likely you're not going to last. In full disclosure, I don't even know if I should be mentioning this in this video, but I don't plan on staying. I've done very well my first year, but like I said, there's a lot that you just can't know until you're doing it. And it's okay. And I also like to add that I have zero regrets at all. knowing that I won't be doing this long term, I have zero regrets for the amount of time that I have done it. There's no sunk cost fallacy here at all. I am glad. I have learned a ton. I've met a lot of people, and all these skills are going to be extremely transferable to my next endeavor, which I'll get into at a later time. But yeah, like I said, I just wanted to kind of just speak off the cuff about my experience and what it's been. Just off the top of my head right now, a perfect example, I'll just use this current deal I'm working on to paint a picture, if you will. I got a call because they saw a sign, my sign, down the street and said, hey, we'd like to sell our building. And I said, great. Figured out the price, listed it, got the listing agreement, great. There's just so much to the process. And this deal in particular, we had two prospects, two people that wanted to buy. And not being very experienced, not knowing a ton, and you can't just go off a gut feeling. Maybe once you are experienced you can. But my gut told me to go with prospect A, and they ended up going with prospect B because on paper the deal was just better. And they offered more money down. The earnest money was non-refundable, so they went prospect B. Well, here we are, and realizing 120 days approximately later that the deal was better on paper, and I think it's going to end up penning out in the end. It's going to be okay. It's going to close. But really, it wasn't a better deal. And option A, the buyer was more transparent. They were more forward about it. So here we are on our fourth extension. They've already not only... Let me back up. They've already... Because I got to be careful about what I say. I can't disclose too much, even though I'm not naming names. But there's already a significant amount of money, let's just say that, of the earnest money that it's all been released. So they got significant skin in the game. But we're waiting on the city to approve permits before they will fund. And yeah, there's just so many moving parts, and that's what I think what's frustrating about this business that you'll learn is you can do everything you possibly can, or at least that you know of, and the deal could be stalled or even fall through, God forbid, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. And in the midst of that, you might even be doing everyone else's job, following up with people that the other broker should be following up with, communicating with the title company, with the lenders, the attorneys, so much. And you got to be prepared for the deal to just fall through. As a senior broker said in a meeting recently, the deal is not done until the money is in your account. And that's just the reality of it. And then with the recent interest rate hikes, the lending environment is constantly changing. So you might get those permits approved, and then despite any kind of commitment letter from the lender, they're not going to fund. And then you're shit out of luck, and so is the buyer, so are all parties. So anyways, there's just a lot to this business. And I guess if I had one piece of advice for someone who wanted to do this, be absolutely certain that you want to do this long term, because it's a long-term game. It is very long-term. Have money saved up. Have at least a year's worth of expenses saved up, and ideally with a roommate or a spouse or someone to support you, because you're going to need it. And I guess I'll just repeat. I'll like to reiterate that I don't regret the time that I have spent in it. I think I could keep going with where I'm at now. This whole last year, this is all I've done. I've lived off the commission or the commission from the sale, as well as a few leases that I've closed, as well as my savings and some investments. So it's been stressful. It's been this ebb and flow in my investments and my savings. But if I kept going, now I decided I wanted to stay and stick with it, I'd be okay. Maybe just pick up a side job here or there, and then, But yeah, just be absolutely certain it's what you want to do. And I guess the paradox of that is, like I said, you can't really know that until you're doing it, until you're in the fray. So I guess the flip side of that is just try it out. And you'll find out pretty soon if this is up your alley or not. I think they say, 85% or something like that. I don't know. Don't quote me. Of all brokers leave within the first 3 years. Maybe it's within the first year. So I can't remember. It's very high. And now that I've been doing it, I can see why. It's like having this hot dog dangled, hot dog on the stick, and then it's pulled away at the last moment, and then you just beat with a stick. You don't get that commission. You don't get the deal. That's stressful alone. Anyway, think about those things. And maybe leave some questions in the comments, and I'll do a follow-up video. I'm sure there's a ton of things I'm not thinking of that I wanted to put in here, but this was completely impromptu. I'm driving to the coast and wanted to make some type of video, and that's what's been on my mind. But I think that's it for now. Until next time.